Hi, my name is Anson Thompson. You may call me Andy, and welcome back to Find the Pain, Heal the Pain, Show the Love. This module is about networking, not about social networking, not about new networking, but old school networking, because it's my professional opinion, my personal opinion, that networking is very, very important, but the old stuff that we used to do is still as important as it ever was, if not more important. So soon I'm going to talk about social networking and the new networking, if you will, but I want to go back in time and talk about the old school networking. So let's start. Let's talk about the word networking. You know, networking to most people has a bad connotation. If you remember the old, hi, my name is Bob, and you go and you talk to people and it feels icky. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what networking is to most people. And so I want to break networking down into 3 different tiers. I want to talk about tier 1, which is basically that just simple interaction. Hi, my name is, your name is, and that's really as far as you get. Okay, that would be a tier 1 networked person. Tier 2 network would be maybe a tier 2 person, you know their family, you know their kids' names, but you don't maybe know anything else about them. You maybe know what they do for a living. That would be a type 2 network person. And the 3rd tier of network people, I'm going to refer to a book by the name of Refrigerator Rights, written by a guy by the name of Dr. Will Miller. And the basis of Refrigerator Rights is that there are people in your life that could come to your house right now, and they could have a conversation with you in your kitchen, and they could open up your refrigerator, and they could begin making themselves a sandwich, and you wouldn't think anything about it. Now, I promise you, if I came to your house today and began making a sandwich from your refrigerator, you may freak out. And so you have to understand that there are people that you have a very, very strong connection with. But so how do we get refrigerator rights? How do we get 3rd tier networked relationships into our life? There's actually a few rules that we must understand. First of all, you have to understand in networking, not everybody will like you. And that's okay. Because if you think about it, you, unless you're a weirdo, don't like everybody else. So number 1, not everybody will like you when you begin quote-unquote networking. There's 2 theories in sales, there's 2 theories in life. One is the abundance theory, and the other is the scarcity theory. The scarcity theory goes something like this. When you meet somebody, you have to make the best attempt you can, no matter what, to connect with that person and get them to a 2nd or 3rd tier referral. I'm sorry, a 2nd or 3rd tier relationship. And if you don't, you fail. But the abundance theory says, you know what, there's 6.7 billion people. 6.7 billion people in this world. And I understand that if I have an interaction with someone and I don't feel comfortable or they don't feel comfortable, that's okay. It's okay, move on. No need to get upset. Just move on to the next person. Move from a tier 1 to a tier 2. So how do we do that? Well, there's just a few simple things that I'm going to ask you to remember. The first thing is, I want you to know is that they don't care about you. When you meet someone for the first time, they don't care what your name is. They don't care what you do. They don't care if you're married, single. In most cases, they don't care about you. Always remember that. Okay? Most people only care about themselves. I hate to say that, but it's true. Second thing, always use the 70-30 rule when meeting someone for the first time. And what that means is only speak 30% of the time and let them speak 70% of the time. When meeting someone for the first time, use the 70-30 rule. Finally, the 3rd and most important rule is learn their name. A lot of us have trouble with this, but always try to find out what their name is and then use it once or twice in that first conversation. If you start doing that, use those 3 simple rules, you'll move very quickly from a tier 1 to a tier 2 relationship networking. And in order to have an impact in your local area using old school networking, I recommend being a part of 3 different groups. 3 different groups. Not 4, not 5, but 3 different groups. And what are they? Well, first and foremost, you need to be a part of a civic group. What's a civic group? Well, a civic group is like a Rotary, a Lions Club, something like that. And the reason these are important is because the people that are members of these groups are usually CEOs, CFOs, generally heavy hitters in your area that you should be connecting with. And it's not the actual meetings that you go to that are important, it's the outside community service activities that are important. That's how you get to know people. So first and foremost, get involved in a civic group. Number two, make sure you get involved in an industry trade association. And I don't care if you're a plumber, you're a heating and cooling guy, you sell copiers, or you sell shoes, there is an industry trade association for what you do. Find a great industry trade association and get involved. The reason is because you're going to learn from your peers, the people that are in your specific business. And finally, the third type of business that I want you to be a part of is a networking type group. Now in your area, if you ask around, there's a group called BNI, Business Networking International. And if there's not a BNI, there's a Rainmakers group. And if there's not one in your area, then start one. They are amazing groups. And the way these groups work is, basically they're set up every week at the same time. There are some attendance rules, but each week you get to stand up and you ask for specific referrals. You ask for specific people in your community that you would like to connect with. And if it's set up right and you've got a good group of people, the people in that room will actually know that person, or at least one person will, and they'll make a personal introduction. So again, to recap, when networking, old school networking, be a part of three main groups. First of all, a civic group. Number two, a industry trade association. And finally, an industry networking group or a business networking group. Now I got the three groups we're going to be a part of. Okay, so how do you even start that process? Well, first of all, get invited in. Just like any appointment, when you join a networking group, get invited in. You know somebody that's already a part of the Industry Trade Association, that's already a part of the civic group, or is a part of the networking group. Ask them, hey, I've heard good things about this, I'd like to come check it out. When they invite you, whatever time the meeting starts, get there early. If it's a noon meeting, get there at 11:30. If it's a 7 a.m. meeting, yeah, they have meetings at 7 a.m., get there at 6:30. And what you do is, even if no one is there, you're going to see who gets there first. Those are important people. You're going to see who's setting up the room. Those are important people. And you're going to see who's kind of keeping track of everything. Because what you'll find out in any group, the leaders of the group not necessarily are the people that are up front. The people organizing and working the room and setting everything up, generally those are leaders that at one point in the future you're going to want to talk to. Okay, so get there early, check it out. If you feel comfortable and it provides value to you, if they do programs and you learn something, then you might want to consider joining. And after you join, there's usually some kind of an induction ceremony. You stand up and you say, here's who I am, but get a part of the group. Once you're in, then don't do anything. Observe. Keep quiet. Just watch and observe for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 meetings, okay? And try to just mentally watch what's going on, but I want you to pay attention for 5 meetings, and I don't want you to do anything, but what I want you to do is I want you to see, what do they need? And every group that you're going to be a part of is going to need something. Some will need networking. Some will need more members. Some will need social media help. And you, whoever you are, you have skills. You have a set of skills that you can provide help to these groups. And so once you determine what the need is, and sometimes they'll even tell you, hey, we have a special need for, I want you to go to the person that you think is the leader in the group. Sometimes it's going to be the person up front, sometimes it's the person that signs you in, but I want you to go to them and say, look, it seems to me that we might have an issue with membership, or a web presence, or fundraising, whatever it is, and I'd like to help. And they'll say to you, well, Mary manages that. And so what I want you to do is call Mary and say, hey, I'm a new member. My name is Jeff or Steve or Rob. Whatever your name is, that's what you want to say. And you say, Mary, I want to have coffee with you. I want to stop by your office, and I want to see what I can do to help you. When you do that, you're going to start getting involved in that group. And one other key that I would ask that you do is, over time, try to position yourself to a point where each week or every other meeting, give a small 1-minute presentation. And as you get more and more and more active in these groups, what invariably happens is you get put on the board, and then you can get into a leadership position, and as you ascend to a leadership position, you get more and more and more networked, not only in that group, but also in your community.